Hello and welcome to Veggie Patch Ideas. Today it's all about French beans and how to grow these beautiful beans successfully. Now, these come in many different varieties, and you get big tall climbing beans and you get very small dwarf beans, and these are good for different situations. So if you've got a container garden, then your dwarf beans are your go-to bean, and these get to around 30 centimeters to 45 centimeters high, so very good. Or you could create a hedgerow of beans, which I do every year just along the side, and they crop incredibly. So we'll sow these, and we'll also sow the climbing beans, and we'll take you outside and we'll show you how to set up the wigwam I use to support these on. So when it comes to sowing any French bean, you want to be finding quite a deep cell tray like this, or one like this, or in fact a toilet roll. This will work perfectly. All you need to do is fill it with soil, pop your bean in the top and water it as normal. These biodegrade in the soil, so you can just leave it straight in there and the roots will come out the bottom, or just tear it as you go. So what we'll do, we'll get sowing some beans and you can follow along. So in order to sow the beans, we're going to need some multi-purpose compost for a start. And in this occasion we'll go for a bush variety, and this will get to around 30 centimeters tall. We'll fill a seed tray up and it'll be of 4 cells. Because there's quite a lot of soil in this tray, there's no need to really sieve the compost. And we'll go with this one. This is Kinghorn Wax. It's a yellow bean and it's a bush variety. Now, because this is quite big and deep, I'm going to go 2 per cell on this one. But generally, if they're a smaller cell, you only need to go 1 per cell. And I'll divide these up when they grow on. And we want to push these down to about 1 centimeter depth and then cover over the top. Take a little bit more compost. So we'll water these, and we won't over water them. We'll water them a lot to start off with and then put them somewhere warm. These like heat to germinate. So if you're in a colder climate, try and aim for a temperature range of around 16 to 18 degrees just for germination, and then they can quite happily come into the polytunnel or into the greenhouse and they'll fly away. If you don't have a greenhouse or polytunnel, a sunny windowsill will do just fine. So we'll put these to one side. Now for your climbing beans, let's go outside and show you the wigwam we'll set up to get these going. And April is a good time to set up all your bean supports. If you leave it too late on in the season, getting into May, June and July, then you may find the ground too hard to actually get the canes into. Believe it or not, now the ground is saturated with water. I'm just giving you a demonstration, but April, towards the end of April, is kind of perfect to be putting your canes into the ground. So let's go ahead and do that now. So we take our canes and we pop them firmly down, and we want to be centering these around 30 centimetres apart. See, we're going in real easy now. And when now, because I'm doing a few different varieties of beans, I'm going to set up quite a few different wigwams. So the struts are in place, and then I just go with half a cane onto the top, and then I tie it in. And this is just normal garden twine string. You can use zip ties. But this year I want some of the beans to be protected against the wind. So I'm doing it this side of the polytunnel. Last year they did suffer with wind burn. They were fairly exposed. Make sure you tie them in well. And if you're in a very windy site, I would probably use a couple of zip ties, but I don't like using many if I don't have to. So that's in nice and strong. I'll tie the tops up. If you do want to brace your beans, you can put a cross in, which goes like this. So you would tie it into these bits and you go across the other way. Like this, just weave it in and out. Let's go the other way, shall we? What am I on about? So, in, out, shake it all about, like so, and then we'll tie the top bits in. There we go. This is nice and firm, and that'll support the weight of all your beans beautifully. Tidy up the string. And now a very important trick to do with your beans when you plant them out. You plant them out to the canes and that's absolutely fine, but the slugs and snails absolutely love fresh young leaves of the beans. So I use this, and it's essentially a plastic netting, green plastic netting. I'll link it in the description. I'll link everything. But what I do, I go round the base like so, and I tie it off, and I go round the base just to start the French beans off, all the way around, tie it in, put the soil around just so the slugs can't get in, and that will make a world of difference to your French beans. Otherwise, you'll put them in, the slugs will eat them, and you have to re-sow, which is a real pain in the arse. guys, and don't forget, when you're placing your beans onto your canes, as they grow up, make sure when they get to the top, you crop them at the very top, and that means they'll bush out to the middle and you'll get a much bigger harvest. So when they go in the ground, make sure there's plenty of organic matter in there. So as you saw a few videos back, I dug a trench and I filled it with manure and then let it rot down. If you haven't done that already, then all you need to do is compost, mushroom compost, horse manure, well rotted, anything that can go in with the beans to give them that food, because they are a very, very hungry plant, and that's what will give you the absolute best success with your French beans. Happy growing, and I hope to hear how your harvests are doing once you get them into the ground and thriving, and we'll see you next time.